The fall of 2015 wasn't a fantastic season for anime, but there was one that shined out above them all. One Punch Man is a very enjoyable anime, and I liked most of the show. The story follows Saitama, a man who is so powerful that he can defeat his foes with one punch. He doesn't do his job for the fame or fortune, he's just a hero for fun. We begin in the media res with a swift and brutal demonstration of Saitama's powers. Back in the present day, Saitama faces a continuous barrage of strange villains and monsters, time and time again defeating them, often with a vicious efficiency. He soon finds a sidekick, the cyborg Genos, who pledges himself to learning Saitama's ways. They eventually team up and join the Hero Association, who recruit heroes to protect the city from monsters. It seems stupidly simple, and I'm not really sure if I liked the first few episodes because it was so predictable, but after sticking around for the rest, I wasn't disappointed. Haitsu Genso no Grimgar was a overall pretty decent anime. The story follows a group of young people who are being transported/trapped in a world where they have to fight monsters, which is totally original. The anime is very character driven and it's mostly focused on a boy named Haruhiro. The whole point of the anime is to see his perception of the world, the state he is in, the events he gets into, and the relationships he has and develops with the characters. Unfortunately, while Haruhiro has amazing characterization, the majority of the other characters don't get much. And that creates situations where there will be interaction between Haruhiro and another character, and if you don't have a good characterization or understanding of that character because of lack of characterization, it's frustrating because while you love/hate Haruhiro, you don't really know how to feel about this underdeveloped character. One thing that stood out pretty clear to me is how Grimgar tried to emulate the process of leveling up a champ as you would do in a regular MMO like World of Warcraft. As a result of it actually trying to do this, it ends up being a really slow-paced type of anime, which I personally enjoy. Essentially, they start out really weak, can barely take out a level 1 goblin, then they gradually level up, learn new abilities, taking small quests, earning more loot which will prompt them to get more items and work their way up the ladder from there. It is quite refreshing to see how Grimgar tried to import that aspect of MMOs into an anime. Assassination Classroom gave us quite an unbelievably ridiculous and out there story. A yellow octopus-looking thing blows up 70% of the moon and is practically unkillable due to his speed and power. He says that the only way he'll allow for anyone to kill him is through assassination. And the people that are allowed to kill him are third-year middle school students of a prestigious school who go to the so-called N class where all the bad kids go to. The government says that if any of the students can kill the octopus thing, they'll give them a fancy reward of 10 billion yen, which today roughly translates into 87 million US dollars. At first, everyone tries to kill him, but they eventually grow attached to him. He is a good teacher and he cares for his students. I, for one, originally dropped Ansatsu when its first season was still coming out. I made it to episode 9 or something, and then I had to drop it because the whole premise was insanely stupid to me. I remember actually getting mad when watching the show, and that's not exactly what you want to do. Either way, I ended up dropping it, and a couple of years later they came out with a second season and it blew up with insane ratings, and I eventually figured that maybe I should give it another chance. But the second season is really where the show takes off, and you're ultimately the one who's gonna have to call worth. Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans is another addition to the Gundam universe. It has many of the themes and plots that surround Gundam. It's got the politics, mechas, explosions, and questions about humans and differing beliefs. A strong element that IBO offers up is exploring the problems faced by child soldiers through the fighting they undergo. This gets prominent focus through Mikazuki's character, as due to his upbringing as a child soldier, he is psychologically unstable from his inability to properly express his emotions and deal with social situations outside of military settings. The boy will usually find himself giving into berserk rages while in battle, is completely merciless to enemy forces, and has difficulty properly expressing emotions, traits that he is well aware of internally throughout the series. IBO asks a lot of questions to the viewer, but it doesn't actually make the viewer think too much about the reasons of a character's actions, aside from "this is the morally correct decision to make" or "I did this for my comrades." While these are commendable reasons, they don't create a very good character that is strong and communicable. Now, I'm not really too familiar with the Gundam franchise, as I'm just not into the mega genre as a whole, however I have seen some. And I gotta say, I quite enjoyed Iron-Blooded Orphans more than any Gundam series I can remember. Kicked out of an orphanage and being homeless for weeks, scavenging for food and nearly starving to death, Nakajima Atsushi, our main protagonist, encounters a strange fellow named Dasai, who yaps about the beauty of being able to commit suicide. Through Dasai, he gets acquainted with an armed detective company that consists of ability users, and it turns out that Atsushi is an ability user as well. He's able to morph into a white tiger when he gets threatened. This apparently is an incredibly rare and very sought-after ability that other crime organizations are trying to get their hands on for various reasons, and so Atsushi becomes swept into a tide of action and drama. Bones accomplished what it intended to do in terms of exposition by developing and delving sufficiently into the armed detective company and Port Mafia, as well as all the characters compromising each organization and their abilities. I was honestly impressed with how well Bones constructed and organized the second season, and I am hoping for a third installment someday. Mob Psycho is another anime by Studio Bones, and it seems that Studio Bones has been on a good track in recent years after some successful animes such as Bungo Stray Dogs and Boku no Hero Academia. It seems that Mob Psycho has gained an immense audience from One Punch Man, whose author is also responsible for Mob Psycho. It always struck me as kind of peculiar that Mob would go on to become a popular anime when its choice of art and animation style arguably puts a lot of people off. But I suppose the connection to One Punch Man kind of explains some of the popularity. I'll also note that though this anime has a similar essence to One Punch Man, I actually prefer Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho 100 is about a below-average, boring, physically weak kid who also happens to have incredible psychic powers that enable him to do absolutely anything besides being a below-average, boring, physically weak kid. Mob wants to become more, he wants to self-improve, and with the aid of his life mentor Reagan, an evil spirit, and some school classmates, he sets out to do so. Initially, this brings him into conflict with evil spirits and, more importantly, with other thin-skinned psychics who he rubs the wrong way. The battles that ensue explore the story's main theme of self-betterment. It does take a few episodes to like Mob Psycho, but I believe it is worth it. Set in the Warring States period of Chinese history, Kingdom presents a vaguely historical tale about the unification of China, told primarily through the eyes of an orphan named Sin. It is a distinctly shonen-ish anime featuring sprawling battle scenes and characters proclaiming the glory of warfare and engaging in the intrigues of the royal court. The plot revolves around Sin and his rise to fame along with his involvement in the actions of the royal court. The show uses that oddly unnerving pseudo 3D style that has been popular in recent years, which unfortunately again will turn a lot of people away, and it's really a shame because Kingdom is a great anime. I myself am not a fan of this type of animation style, but come on people. Attack on Titan's strongest suit is without a doubt its animation. It's top-notch. The plot is extremely intriguing, no doubt, especially as it takes off in Season 2. The problem I have is with the characters, particularly Eren. Our series lead, he might just be my least favorite character in the entire show. I seriously did not like him within minutes of watching the show. Even before the Titans attacked, he was filled with anger and hate for absolutely no apparent reason. Rage is really the only definable trait of Eren. He scantily shows an affection or otherwise positively interacts with Mikasa. Rather, he just continually rages about how he hates and wants to kill all the Titans. He is very one-dimensional, showing little to no change or development over the course of the anime. He is a terrible protagonist in my opinion. Then we have Mikasa, who, sure, is badass and cool, but she's basically also a robot. Mikasa has no goals, interest, or personality to speak of. She's just this mega warrior genius whose only interest in the entire world is Eren. She serves as his protector and obsessor. These facts are made even more trite by how brutally underdeveloped the relationship between Eren and Mikasa is. Their relationship is basically entirely non-existent, making her entire character's existence pretty much pointless. My favorite characters were Sasha and Jean. Jean is the most dynamic character in the whole anime. He's pragmatic and grounded, he actually has some sort of realistic sense of the danger they face. So my love for Attack on Titan mainly comes in the form of its plot, its action, its intrigue, and its absolute horror. Still, even if you don't like any of the characters, you can still feel the pain and horror that they face because it's so well animated and the voice acting is superb. I feel like Boku no Hero Academia doesn't deserve the amount of hate it gets for being a shonen superhero anime. Yeah, it is a shonen superhero anime, but it's still damn good. For anyone who hasn't picked up Boku no Hero Academia yet, get on the train. Obviously, Season 2 is a continuation of Season 1, and the show keeps getting better. Izuku was born without powers in a world where everyone has powers. When I say powers, I mean quirks. Izuku, being a die-hard fan of heroes, runs into his personal favorite, All Might, who eventually helps him out to become a hero. Furthermore, for Izuku to become a hero, he has to go to a prestigious hero academy where he meets other future heroes and rivals. That is the basic premise. The strength of Boku no Hero Academia lies in its characters. It is a very character-driven anime contrary to Attack on Titan, and I really do love a lot of the characters in Boku no Hero Academia. Hunter x Hunter has a very interesting and well set up premise that is simple to follow from the get-go. The story follows Gun Freaks, a 12-year-old kid from Whale Island, who spent his life becoming one with nature and owning his reflexes and skills, excelling in activities such as fishing and things like that. He is an outdoor kid, he has but one goal in mind, to become a hunter. Despite the name, hunters are not guys who go around hunting animals, but are elite members of society with great power and influence over the general population, and are part of the Hunter Association. To become a hunter, one must prove themselves in the Hunter Exam, a difficult series of tests where only the most elite people can pass. But Gon does not seek glory or treasure or fame, he seeks one thing: his father, Jing, who left him on Whale Island as a baby. Jing happens to be a hunter, and Gon wants to become a hunter himself so he can seek out his dad, follow in his footsteps, and find out why he chose being a hunter over raising his own son. Hunter x Hunter is so well done in that it leads the viewer into a false sense of security. Many newcomers to the series dive into it and expect your average ongoing shonen, but after the initial episodes, these initial impressions are quickly shattered. There are countless of times where it seems like the conventional thing is about to happen when suddenly what one thinks is about to happen is trashed and something completely different and unforeseen happens instead. It takes advantage of shonen cliches by appearing to set them up only to do something innovative every single time and never follows them through, which provides a unique take on what is becoming sort of a stale copy and paste genre.